In this story, a woman by name Charity had been barren for years. The breakout of war in her community made her cross paths with abandoned children at the refugee camp. She took care of them at the camp, thinking that their parents or close relatives will come for them at the end of the war. When she realized that nobody cares about these motherless children, she took them in as her own, raised them like her own, expecting nothing in return. 25 years later, Charity was in tears. A surprise awaits her. Could it be tears of joy or tears of sadness? Let's see what happened when Charity turned 65. What surprises did life bring her way? Sit back and enjoy this story. It was in the wake of the war in Arlanda, a country in Africa that was ravaged by war and ethnic cleansing. The Duka and Lufa tribe were at war. Lots of families were displaced and many people were dead. The Duka tribe, though a minority, were very well educated, and the Lufa tribe boasts of their population. Can they ever defeat us? Boasted the Lufa tribe. If they think they have brains, let their brain cells turn into human beings. The Duka tribe suffered intimidation from the Lufa tribe, who were very angry with them. They think they had opportunities and were at the heads of government. Now this is our turn. We will deal with them badly, and at the end of the war, there will not be left one soul from the Duka people. So the war began slowly. It gained momentum through instigations of violence at the various media stations. It's time to cleanse the country of Arlanda from the mosquitoes that bites and sucks our blood. All the radio and television commentators were at their job. The Lufa are in power, said one radio commentator. Why still allow the mosquitoes to bite you and suck your blood? Get up and exterminate the mosquitoes so that the country of Arlanda will be free, fair, and healthy. The next morning, terror was unleashed at every junction at the little hilly country of Arlanda. Lufa men walked up to all the junctions, destroying the Duka people with their machetes, guns and dagger. They set homes on fire, and then terror was unleashed everywhere. People ran away, some to the churches, some to the bushes, and some to the hills. In the midst of all these chaos is a woman named Charity. Charity is a very beautiful Duka woman who was married to a man of the Lufa tribe. That evening, Charity's husband, Mr. Thomas, was back from work. He was very angry with his wife Charity. It was a mistake marrying a mosquito in first place. That is why the gods have refused to give me children with you, he mocked. He left his wife with a note telling her that marrying her was a mistake in the first place. That is why we can't have a child. The war had just begun when Charity got the letter from her husband. I am gone for good. You are simply a mosquito, and I can't stay with a mosquito. Mr. Thomas's letter said, Charity was heartbroken. She cried and cried all day because of her husband's action. The next day she packed her bags and went back to her father's house. The war started in earnest a week after Charity arrived at her father's compound. The destruction of the men of Duka tribe and the burning down of houses by the men of the Lufa tribe continued everywhere. Charity is from Asanga district. She is a very kind-hearted. She works very hard too. The war had made everyone still alive in her community to run away to the camp. There at the camp was when Charity noticed that a lot of children had been displaced. For some of the children, their parents were killed. Some, however, had one of their parents in another refugee camp. It was a tough period for children. The Red Cross organizations were there at the refugee camps. They would share food to all the refugees of the ethnic war. Everyone at the refugee camp were hungry, very hungry. As food was shared, a lot of the adults scrambled for food. They were getting food for themselves and their children. What about the children whose parents are not here? Asked Charity. A lot of the adults at the camp raised their eyebrows at Charity. If you are such a nice person, why didn't you have your own children? Charity ignored them and went to take care of the displaced children. Charity was always trying hard to make sure that the children whose parents were not at the camp had something to eat. She will go to the Red Cross officials begging for food. There at the refugee camp, Charity noticed a 3-month-old baby at the camp. Her mother had died a week before. Baby Daniel was carried by his 5-year-old brother. They were 3 brothers. They were extremely hungry and tattered. Baby Daniel cried all day, but none gave attention to him except for Charity. She had to join the other adults to scramble for food. While other adults will scramble for themselves and their children, Charity will scramble food for the displaced children. She didn't have the opportunity of having children of her own. How can she allow these innocent children to die before her very eyes? Charity thought. The war continued for 6 weeks. Thankfully, the government that had initiated the genocide of the Duka people were overthrown. Another government which fought against violence came to power. They fought against racial hatred. Every citizen was known as the citizen of Arlanda. There was no more Lufa or Duka identity cards. All the other people at the refugee camp went back to their homes. The women too went back with their children. Apart from baby Daniel and his 2 older brothers, Emmanuel too and his brother Glory had no parents. Their parents died during the war, and their uncle Jeff abandoned them at the camp when he felt he could no longer cope with them. He went up to the mountain with the 2 of his children who had survived the war and abandoned his 2 nephews at the camp. He never came back for his 2 little nephews. They cried all day until Charity came to their rescue. She got food from the Red Cross, mainly to share it amongst the children. She would feed them and lay them on the mat to sleep. She will then sit up and watch over them all night. Like the hen watches over its chicks, Charity and her 5 children went home to her father's house at the end of the war. A lot of her family members had died in the cause of the war. Her both parents had also been killed. It was after the war, and things were extremely difficult for people. No one wanted any extra responsibility. She sent words across Daniel's father. "Your children are alive. They survived the war. They are with a woman named Charity." Mr. Gabriel baby Daniel's father would not bulge. What is the need of those children without a mother to take care of them? "They are bad luck children," said Mr. Gabriel. "Their mother should have survived the war." Mr. Gabriel never wanted undue responsibility. His wife Amara was the one who provided for his family when she was alive. He wouldn't go and check up on his children. He doesn't care where they are. Mr. Jeff too will not come back for his nephews. Charity waited for any of the boys' relative to come for them, but no one ever came. She faced her responsibility with zeal, trying all she could to make sure that the children are well fed. She wakes up early in the morning, goes into the nearby bush to fetch firewood. She will sell it and use it to buy foodstuff for her 5 boys. Things were difficult, extremely difficult in the country of Arlanda after the war. Fetching firewood from thick forests was the only way she could survive with her 5 boys right after the war. As months passed, the new government gave the farmers a lot of seedlings. The war had ravaged the country and food was scarce. Charity took her seedlings and went to work. She will carry baby Daniel on her back and work on her farm for hours. In the whole district of Asanga, her 5 boys were amongst the children who were well taken care of. Charity's joy knew no bound the day Daniel was registered in school. She took him to school in the company of his 4 brothers. Emmanuel's uncle never asked of his nephews Emmanuel and Glory. Many of Charity's neighbors mused at her foolishness. "This woman is a very foolish woman," they would say. "She is using her hard-earned money to raise other people's children. After raising them, then they will go back to their families." "Do you even have sense?" Madame Agnes asked. Madame Agnes was one of Charity's concerned relative. "You've taken 5 boys, and you are taking care of them as though they are your children. Have you asked yourself what you will gain at the end of the day? Or don't you know you should be able to sow only where you can reap?" Charity smiled. "Thank you, Auntie Agnes, for your concern. I have been barren all these 7 years. I went to many hospitals and herbalists. I visited everywhere I could to have a child, but I couldn't. Only for me to see these children abandoned by everyone at the camp. Life came back to me the moment I started taking care of them. I am not taking care of them for the reward I will get. My joy knows no bound doing it." Auntie Agnes stood for more than 30 minutes like a statue looking at Agnes. She has never seen someone so selfless. Charity passed hurriedly to her house. She had just returned from the farm and had to go and cook for her children. They will soon be back from school. As the years passed, the boys grew. They helped Charity in her farm work. It was a pleasant house. They would tease themselves and play. Charity was most grateful to God. She asked God for a child. Now she has 5 boys to take care of. She spared nothing at taking care of them. She bought them milk every week, bought them books every term, and bought them clothes every Christmas. As they grew up, Charity's farm also expanded. After school, they were at their mother's farm. They will weed and harvest and carry home the produce. There's always enough to eat at home. The boys were all Charity have. You must work hard in your studies too. You have to get the government scholarship. That way, you can get to the university and become big men with big brains. Charity was strict in her household, as she loves the boys dearly and they knew it. She disciplines them as well. There was no room for laziness or smoking or drinking in her house. It was a strict but loving house. One by one, the boys began to go off from the house. They attended the extra moral lessons in their examination year. Mrs. Charity prayed for them to pass their scholarship examination. They did well and went to the university, each on scholarship. It's been 7 years since her last baby Daniel left the house. The 3-month-old Daniel is now a full-fledged man. He also got the government scholarship. From time to time, the boys will return home from school. Charity was always delighted at their return. She will pray for them to get connections and become successful. The last time the boys returned home was 2 years ago. Auntie Agnes was furious at Charity. "I told you, but you wouldn't listen. Now it's happening before your own very eyes. You have raised other people's children, and they are gone back to their families. Look at you at 64, still working and grinding. I thought by now they should be taking care of you. Yet I don't see them around anymore. We speak over the phone." Charity cried. "I didn't take care of them to get something from them. They are all fine at their different place of work, and that's all that matters. So who's enjoying their money now? Their family that abandoned them. Shame on you, Charity, you don't use your common sense." All these words made Charity avoid her Auntie Agnes. She doesn't want anyone to spoil her mind towards her children. They are still starting out in life, and she believes they will all make it. One early morning in the month of March, Charity received a call from her oldest son, Joseph. It was a pleasant surprise. He was joined by her other 4 boys as they sang her a happy birthday song. Mrs. Charity held her heart. She had forgotten it was her birthday. "God bless you all wherever you are," Charity prayed. "Yes," Mama replied, "the boys and we are right in front of the house." They chorused. It was confusing to Charity. When did they arrive, or could it be that they have taken risk to travel at night? She drew the curtain and looked out through the window. Behold, her 5 boys were standing in front of the house. Behind them was a man holding the trumpet, and a big SUV was parked by their side. Charity was out of the house. She hugged each of her sons and danced for joy. "You have done so well for yourselves. Congratulations for the new car you bought." That was when the trumpeter began to blow the trumpet. It was the most joyful sound she had heard in years. Her neighbors rushed of their houses, following the sound of the trumpet to Charity's house. After the trumpeter had sang her a happy birthday song, they handed over an envelope to her. She opened it, her eyes widening with excitement. She began to pray over the car keys that were handed over to her. She blessed it, saying, "As they ride in this car, they shall go safely and come back safely." "No, Mama, it's yours," said Daniel excitedly. "Yes, it's yours. Thank you for all you do." Tears of joy dropped off Charity's eyes. It was the highest gift she had ever received in her life. "There's a party this evening in your honor," said Daniel, "and it will be covered by the national television." Another surprise asked Charity amidst her tears. That afternoon, there was an announcement for Charity's birthday party. The town criers went throughout the district inviting people. That evening, the 5 boys drove Mrs. Charity to her new house. It was a beautiful mansion at the heart of Azanga district. It has a well-manicured garden and a swimming pool. Many people who heard of the surprise birthday party rushed to the event center. There was a lot to eat and drink. The national television was also there to cover the occasion. People ate and drank to their satisfaction. Madame Agnes, too, was one of the guests. People ate and drank to their satisfaction. Charity was then interviewed. She was overwhelmed with joy. "These children are God sent to me. I was called barren and childless, but God gave me 5 good boys. No, Mama, Daniel said God gave you to us and we celebrate you for all you do. That was how the once barren Charity became a mother of 5 boys. Motherhood is not just about giving birth to children, it's rather about raising children. Dear viewers, what are your thoughts on this story? Share with us and kindly subscribe as we bring you interesting and educative stories on African classic stories. Thank you for all your love and support.